Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Oh Hell No. Today we have Vonna Matthews, Editor-in-Chief of CEOMOM magazine. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm super excited. So the first question that I want to ask you, please forgive my ignorance, but a lot of people might not know this. So you are editor-in-chief of this magazine. Was that an appointed position or is it your magazine?
It is my magazine. I am the founder as well.
Awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to get into my very first question. That was my pre-question. So what was your major in college?
Radio, television, film was my undergraduate degree, and then I have an MBA.
Wow. Okay. So do you feel like you are living in your purpose with this magazine venture? Do you feel like you're going in
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes, and I feel like it took a long time. It was like a full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go through a lot of bumps to get back to where you want to be. So it definitely wasn't a linear process, but yes, I am definitely living my passion and living in my purpose.
Oh, that's what I love to hear. So what positions have you held in the past that you felt did not make you happy, but looking back, you feel like it prepared you in some way for where you are today?
That's a tough question because I will say when I first graduated from college, my initial goal was to move to New York and try to be a television writer and producer. So that was my ultimate goal. And I graduated 2001. And so it was 2 months after September 11th. And my family was like, please don't move to New York. Please don't move to New York. And so I listened to them and I ended up back in Dallas, which is where I'm from, doing event planning. So my first real job out of college, I was program director for a nonprofit organization, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And so I ended up doing events probably for the next 10 years. And it was something that I felt very passionately about and I really, really loved, but I still wanted to be more media focused. So I actually, with one of my jobs, I started a company and it went absolutely nowhere called the Buzz Media Collaborative. I have no idea what my goals were, but I was like, I've got to do something in media. And so I ended up staying in event planning. And after leaving corporate America, just through a series of events and going into marketing and web development and graphic design, I ended up back focused exclusively for the most part on media. So I haven't really had a job that I just hated.
Well, that's good because most people, that's not the case.
No, I know. So I'm blessed in that way. I really
Yeah,
am.
that's amazing. And it seems like you probably can pull from those backgrounds too with what you're doing today. I'm sure that, event planning comes in handy with planning things out when you're doing stuff for the magazines like shoots and all those types of things.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So what made you decide to start a magazine focused on successful working moms?
Well, I started back in 2014. I started a lifestyle brand called Bottles, Bibs, and Pumps. And so our focus was just to, for the most part, be like a resource hub for mompreneurs. So just, provide information on where they can find the best nursery to business tips and things like that. And so I wanted to expand on that. I actually, funny story, because I was pregnant with my second daughter and my oldest daughter was 2.5 at the time. And so someone had approached me about a business idea and I was supposed to have a conference call with them that day. And so being 5 months pregnant and having a 2.5-year-old, I was out of my mind. And so I completely forgot about it. And they ended up, reaching out to me and was like, what happened? And I'm like, and I was telling them, I'm sorry, I've got a 2-year-old and I'm pregnant and can we reschedule? And it was a guy and he was so not understanding. He was very condescending. It was like, you need to do better.
Wow.
You need to get it together. And that made me think, this has to be something that other women who are balancing work and a family go through. This can't be something that's just my story. And I wanted to start having conversations. And so I had the lifestyle brand, and I wanted to take it a step further and start having those conversations and put stories out there and hear from these women and inspire and motivate and expand on the community that I was trying to build. So that's ultimately what really lit the fire in me to start CEO Mom magazine.
Wow. So from the moment you had the idea, how long did it take you to bring it to fruition?
From the moment I had the idea specifically for CEO Mom magazine was about a year. About a year. I wanted to start a magazine in 2009 and actually started the process, and it wasn't the right time, so I stopped. So if you ask me honestly how long it took, I would say about 7 years.
Okay, wow. So is this magazine available online and hard copy, or is it just...
It is available online. It's for the most part, it's a digital magazine with the option to print. So we do print copies, and we're opening it up for print subscriptions next year.
Oh, nice. So how is that? How do you think that's going to be? Because I know that like now with everything being digital and online, a lot of people would rather get their magazines that way. Well, I mean, me personally, I like getting magazines in the mail and I like getting books and, touching them. But a lot of people today like the online stuff. So how do you feel about going into printing?
Well, we initially did not want to go into printing for a few more years, but a lot of the moms that we talked to, a lot of our subscribers, they're like, I want something in my hands. I
Yeah.
want something that, like you said, comes in the mail and something that I can touch and that I can read right in front of me. And so we feel like we're being pushed
Yeah.
to offer print subscriptions.
And that's a great thing too. So.
Yeah,
So
we're
the,
excited.
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Yeah, so the magazine is published by For Her Media. Are you affiliated with that? Or is that
Yeah.
oh you are?
Yes.
You are awesome, girl.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
is amazing. So, how big is the team that helps to come up with the story ideas for the magazine? Because I was looking online at the magazine and it has so many different topics, so many interesting things. I love how you have like a little section where you had an article about kids learning how to invest in stocks and stuff. That was like so good. So, how do you come up with all of this stuff? How big is your team?
I'll be honest with you. Well, my team for the most part is about 4 people. So it's about 4 people that work on it exclusively. So I have a photo editor, I have contributing designers, actually probably about 5 or 6 people,
Hmm.
designers, a couple of writers that'll submit stories. But for the online part, it's been awesome because we get a lot of pitches. We get
Oh,
a lot of
nice.
pitches, a lot of people just wanting to be connected. And so they send us articles and we just kind of sift through them and figure out which ones, fit the brand the best and go from there. So we've been really, really blessed that way.
Yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful and there are some great articles there.
Thank you.
So, have you ever invited someone to be on the cover and they declined?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Oh, that's good. I was just curious.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part of your job?
Gosh, that's a hard one. Let's see. I think the hardest part is because I'm surprised. I was initially surprised by how many people wanted to be attached to the brand.
Hmm.
So I get a lot of requests for covers, requests to be featured, requests for pitches. And so one of the hardest parts for me has just been not being able to accommodate all of those people and just having to, I don't want to say weed people out, but figure out what the best fits are, because it's just something that really shocked me, and I don't think we really prepared for it. So
Right.
it's like, oh my gosh, we can't cover everybody. And there's so many amazing moms out there, and we cannot feature every person. So just trying to figure out the best fit for that particular issue, or are we trying to tell your story, or is it the right time for it? So that's been challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, what do you enjoy the most about what you do?
Meeting so many amazing women.
Yeah.
I and they feed into me. I do interviews and I'm like, oh my goodness, was this for me or for my readers? Like they just so inspirational and just, meeting women that I would have never had the opportunity to meet before, hearing their stories, seeing how I'm not the only one it's out there trying to do that hustle, trying to be that mom and run the business at the same time and still pursue your dreams. And
Yeah.
so just having that community has been the best part.
Yeah, it's got to be amazing because I know I meet some pretty amazing people too doing this podcast, and it's so much fun and it's so inspiring. I agree. So, there is a price to pay for everything in life, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. No matter what path we choose, I feel like we always have to pay a price. What did you give up or lose to start this magazine? Or was there anything that you feel suffered that you can share with us, by starting this magazine and having to, because I'm sure it took a lot of work, time, energy. Is there anything?
Ooh, you've got some tough questions. So like I really need to think about this because there's so much that you do give up. I think when I think about just being an entrepreneur, you do give up sometimes having some of the same things that everybody else has,
Mm-hmm.
material wise, financially.
Right.
You feel like, you've had to take a step back and just kind of watch everybody else seem to grow and expand. And you're like, okay, I have this vision, so I have to stick with this. I have to be conservative. I have to be smart. And not to say that they don't, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a different level of sacrifice when you don't have a regular paycheck.
Right.
So I would say from the financial part of it, just having to be diligent on a different level than when you're used to being paid every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. And then the other sacrifice is just, I would say sometimes, mental, emotional, and spiritual, because you are doing something that a lot of people will not do. A lot of people will not step outside of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever you're doing something that's a little bit different from the norm, it takes something out of you. So it takes you having to really fight through, not, wanting to give up, but not doing it, not always having a support system. Especially with friends and family, they're not always the most supportive. And it's not because they don't want to be, it's just because they don't necessarily understand that hustle. Everybody does not have that hustle. So I would say that's been from the financial to the just the mental and the emotional, if that answers your question. Just having to, to sacrifice sometimes feeling normal, if you
Right.
will.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. What advice would you give to anyone wanting to become a writer for a magazine or, get involved in a project like this or even publishing something smaller, like a book?
I would say do your research. You hear it all the time. It's cliche, but it is so true. Do your research, know your market, and know your competitors. That's one of the first things that you need to do. You also need to find out your why. You need to find out because you need to come from a place of truth. So you need to find out why you want to be connected to a particular brand, why you want to start your own brand, why do you want to be a writer? Are you trying to impact a large number of people? Are you just trying to get your name out there? Are you trying to build your brand? What is it that you're trying to do? So do your research, know your demographic, know your competitors, and know your why.
How do you balance your personal life with your professional life?
Just accept that I'm a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. And at the end of the day, I have to be okay with sometimes things just being okay. I had to let go of perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
I had to really look at, okay, what is most important with me and my husband and my children today? Is it that everything was well organized and we had breakfast at the perfect time and that they went to bed at the perfect time? Or is it that we spent that quality time together? We got the things done that absolutely needed to be done. So I don't think balance is realistic. Balance is, having even weight of distribution or the distribution, whatever, but it's
Yeah.
not possible. It's not possible when you're trying to, run a business and be a mom and a wife. So
Yeah.
just be a hot mess and be comfortable with it.
Right. Right. So, did you ever think that I know that you said that you wanted to have this magazine and you wanted to do it, but did you ever think that it would actually, be here and you'd be doing it? Is there any part of your dream that you couldn't have dreamt up? Like, did your dream take a life of its own and just manifest itself differently than how you envisioned it?
Yes, it did. I thought I would have a magazine. I thought it would be local. I thought that I would just interview people in Dallas and that, my hope was that it would grow and be, a great magazine in Dallas, Texas. I had no idea that I would be talking to people all over the United States and actually all over the world. So yes, it definitely took on a life of its own. I didn't know that so many people would be interested.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing, right? And do you feel like sometimes things just gel and just start to happen and work itself out without you even having to like really put too much effort? Like how you said you get so many people interested in, being a part of the magazine. Do you feel like that came about at the very beginning or as you got further into the process of, bringing this to life?
It came together at the beginning. My magazine is about a year and a half old.
Okay.
So it started pretty much. I had one issue out and I started getting a lot of feedback and a lot of requests. So yeah, things really started to fit together and it's just gelling perfectly so that I can manage it, so that I'm not having to, go out there and do a lot of recruiting, if you will, or a lot of trying to get features. Like most of my features are people who have reached out to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, fitting together.
That's amazing. Well, it was so nice talking to you and getting to know about your magazine and a little bit about you. Before I let you go, I have to ask you, what was your oh hell no moment of this week? I mean, well, this week just started, so let me just say, what was your oh hell no moment of the day? Did you have one today?
Did I have one today? You know what? I will say I did. Right before this call, my 2-year-old decided to have a complete fit.
Ooh.
And I was just like, no, we're not doing it. You're going to bed and I'm out. And I came in my office and locked my room. So that definitely was like, no, it's not happening, babe. I really don't care why you're crying right now. Go to bed.
Right.
So since it's only Monday, I think that was mindful today.
Definitely. So please tell everyone where we can find you online and how people can subscribe to the magazine so that we can stay in touch.
Yes, thank you. You can go to CEOMOMmagazine.com and you can get everything you need from there. You can subscribe. You can read the current issue and look out for our holiday issue, which comes out November 20th. But yes, check out CEOMOMmagazine.com for all of the information and subscribe to our newsletter because we'll be making some really cool announcements.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I did see that you had Candy Buress on your, is that the last cover that you did? What was it, October?
That was the October cover.
Yes. Oh, she is so fabulous. I mean,
yes. Oh my goodness.
Right?
She's amazing. That was a huge blessing. Yes, she is amazing.
Yeah, she is a real entrepreneur. She gets it done. She's an inspiration.
She does.
All right. Well, have a wonderful night, and it was great talking to you.
You too, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
No problem.